Hi, my name's Phil Gardner.
And hi, my name's Lisa Gardner.
And welcome to Fun with Boxes, a special Fun with Boxes where we are taking a look at a new game that's coming to crowdfunding soon.
Well, new game, new-ish game, but let's get it right. Croeso I Fun with Boxes.
Oh.
So we're going very Welsh today.
Very Welsh. That little bit of Welsh is a bit of a clue as to what this game could be or where this game could have originally come from.
Priority misery.
Yep.
Let's take a look. What game are we going to be talking about?
So we're going to be taking a look at Snowdonia Grand Tour.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So just a big thank you to Mark with Naylor Games and everyone at Naylor Games for sending us a copy of the prototype of the Grand Tour for us to take a look at. So I know we're going to be showing some pictures and things of some of the gameplay that we've had, but always the caveat, it is a prototype, it's not final version.
Yes. And we have actually used some of our bits and pieces from our master set.
Master set, yes.
Yes. So
To show how much of a big fan of Snowdonia we are.
yes. Yeah, so do bear that in mind. It very much is a work in progress, and this is coming to crowdfunding.
Game found imminently.
Imminently. As we film this.
Well, as you're viewing this, it's probably on GameFound right now. So go and check it out. If you're a fan of Snowdonia, go and have a look at the campaign.
Absolutely.
This is a really interesting project because we've had Snowdonia for quite a few years now. As you said, we got the master set and we've loved playing that. We haven't got through everything in it because it is a massive amount of content that's in that box. Daffodils and goats and all manner. A Yeti.
I know. I'd forgotten all about that.
But this is to talk about the Grand Tour, but also what's coming with the Grand Tour is they are doing a new edition of Snowdonia, and that is going to be the base game and the map for Stockton and Darlington as well is going to be included in that set. But to go with it is then the Grand Tour, which is fully compatible, or it will be. There's going to be compatibility packs and things available on the crowdfunding to make it compatible with the master set if you've got that, or original Snowdonia if you've got that as well, which I think is really amazing. So it's have a look at GameFound, see everything that's included, think about what you've got already. If you've got some Snowdonia, to make that decision of what version you want. You may want it all because you're completionists a bit, I guess, and want to get the new artwork and everything that's in the new edition of Snowdonia.
Absolutely, because if you've never played Snowdonia, now is your chance, because I'd forgotten how much of a wonderful game it is.
We hadn't played it for a little while. With so many games to play, it's one of those games that perhaps has sat on our shelf for a bit longer than it should have. But with preparing for this video, we did go and revisit our master set and play some games of Snowdonia. It was really brilliant diving back into that original game, but then seeing the amazing stuff that is coming with Grand Tour. But as you said, it's a great opportunity to get Snowdonia now. This is a great jumping on point if you've never played Snowdonia. It's a game that you've perhaps been interested in, but not been able to get hold of that master set or even the originals. The base set can be played as Snowdonia, got all that amazing original gameplay in there. And but Grand Tour is the main thing we're going to talk about, because that's what we were sent, was the Grand Tour content. 4 versions. 4 scenarios.
4 scenarios, yes.
So the Grand Tour that's going on to GameFound is going to have 11 scenarios within it. If you get that Snowdonia sort of special edition set as well, the original game with the Stockton and Darlington, that gives you 13 scenarios in total. But there's also a campaign that will be in the Grand Tour to be able to mix and match all of that content together as well. So even more gameplay opportunities within it.
Yes. And we have played 3 out of the 4 scenarios because we didn't have time to play the fourth one.
We didn't have the players to play the fourth
We
one.
didn't have enough players, which is really gutting.
But we will talk about it. We will talk about it.
Yeah.
It's still something we're very excited to get to the table at some point, but it wasn't happening of being able to do it for this video. But I've read through the rules. We've taken a look at everything with it. So we're going to talk about the main three maps that we've had as part of this one. And we'll start it off with Demerara.
Yes.
Or Demerara?
Demerara, I'd say. But then again, I'm not very good at pronouncing things. So, so it could be anything. Now, this one is the closest to the base game of Snowdonia, isn't
Yes.
it? And what I loved about this straight off the bat was the fact that they've now got tiles that you lay out rather than the cards, so that you can have these fascinating maps and everything. So that was like a
absolutely
cool.
amazing. And that's the big thing they wanted to do in Grand Tour, is take Snowdonia in a completely different direction, but keep all that core gameplay within it, but explore sort of different options in terms of how you can interact with the game.
Yes.
And these three maps that we've played to have certainly done that. So unlike base Snowdonia, where everything was card driven, and even though there was lots of content in the deluxe master set with it, of being able to vary, how that gameplay worked, with the options of the maps now, as you said, there's sort of like more tiles going down to create that variability. Being able to do a lot more in terms of the options of how and when you're doing things, which I think was really, really interesting, and how that scaled through the three different maps we played. As you say, Demerara is the closest to original Snowdonia, but still has interesting twists within it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I quite like the fact that the event track is a little bit sort of more forgiving in this. So this was a brilliant one to start off with.
Yes.
Well, it was recommended that we start off with this one. But this was a really lovely, and the extra twist there.
The extra twist. So you've got the same actions as you had in original Snowdonia. So you're still sort of, gathering the resources, doing the excavation, doing the conversions, laying the tracks, doing all of those things, getting your trains, moving your surveyor. All of that is still in it. But there's some just extra sprinklings. And where that comes with Demerara is around the introduction of sugar within this. So Demerara, the area in Guyana, is famous for sugar plantations. So that's what they've brought that theming into this. And it is very much driven through the sort of the event track of when the event cubes are coming out, they then get turned into unrefined sugar. And as part of the conversion action, you can convert the unrefined sugar into sugar. And that becomes another resource then that you can use to complete certain action spaces, certain building spaces on the board. And there is a massive building space right at the end of the track on this. What was it? Rossignol. That is available right from the beginning of the game. You get to go there right at the beginning, but it needs sugar. So it's another thing that you're looking at doing. And some of the action spaces will, some of the other building spaces will give you sugar as well. So it's just that extra thing you're keeping an eye on, because that could be really, really big points.
It goes up to 32 points.
I know, it can be massive, absolutely massive. But it was just really fun. The theming was really interesting. That extra twist around the sugar was really, really interesting. And there's new trains with it, new cards will get put in as part of the contract. So it really fits in with that theming around some of the other things that you're doing. So really, really enjoyed it. It was a great sort of, step up from Snowdonia of something a little bit different, but still familiar enough that it was so easy to table. And I just want to say with this one as well, of that the setup was very simple, even though you're removing some contracts to put new contracts in from that sort of base Snowdonia contract deck. It was really easy to do that. And it wasn't tons you were changing, and putting the tiles out, that was just really simple, quick and easy to do. And, they look lovely on the board. We were always terrible for, shifting a card or something when it was around the track.
Especially me, Yeah.
So it keeps everything nice, neat and clear of what is going on the board.
And also the maps look fantastic.
Yeah.
Really set the scene, isn't it? The feel for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are still prototype maps. So there's a lot of artwork and everything on them. They look great, but I think they're still refining some things just to make sure that everything is
like sugar.
refining the sugar.
They are. Yes.
Nice one.
Still refining away there.
But just to make sure everything works visually, not just looking beautiful, but in terms of the usability and the visibility of the things that you can do on the board. But absolutely loved it. It was really, really good fun.
A wonderful one, that one,
Yeah.
I must admit. And then we come on to the second scenario.
Yeah. This one I was very excited for because I have got very, very fond memories of holidaying as a child to the Isle of Wight.
Right.
So I know this map quite well of the different places and things on there.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Isle of Wight?
I've never been. I've never been. I really have to go.
You. Yeah.
Especially now especially now I've driven around it in my trains and everything. Have I actually? Well, we'll come to that now.
Yeah. So Isle of Wight, it brings in new things again. Obviously, we're not sugar refining in this. We're on the Isle of Wight. And the Isle of Wight has a very famous event that happens. Well, it's very well known for sailing and things around the island, but there is the big sort of boat race and everything that happens every year at the Isle of Wight. And that is brought into this game, into this map. And it is such good fun. You went crazy of sailing around the island.
I did that. That was it. Every action practically. I was just going for it.
Yeah.
Because if you sail around the island 3 times.
Well, in a 2-player game, it's 3 times.
In a 2-player game, 3 times. Then you get to
win the race.
First place for the race, and you get a whopping 29 points.
I know. You absolutely right. So when we say, so it's your surveyor is the one who'll be going around the island. So they are, taking a little break from all their hard work on the railway tracks, and they are enjoying a sail around the island, which is great.
I was loving it. And we'd be putting pictures up onto the screen. But for me, this map, it just looks fantastic.
It is so bright and colourful. It really, it is very different from any other sort of Snowdonia look I've seen. It is really, really bright, colourful.
Yeah.
And it might look like it has a lot going on the map, but once you've got everything laid out, it does actually all make sense of what everything is. Yeah. So again, everything is based on the tiles going out around the rubbles and everything and how all of that's laid out. You've still got your spaces then where you're going to be doing your building, and a lot of these spaces have a lot of building spaces in them now.
And building in certain things will trigger other things then. So, for example, if you build in 1 or 2 of the areas, you actually get to sail around the island quicker.
Yeah.
So that was
because you have got an extra action column of being able to move your surveyor around the island. So that's really cool. But as you said, some of those building spaces will do that, but some of the other actions will do that as well. So if you remove the final rubble from a space, then it'll allow you to move the surveyor as well. If you build something or you buy a train, then that will move you around. But you're not buying a train.
No, you're not.
No, because we already said we're sailing. So you're buying boats.
I bought a coach.
There's a bus, and there's a company as well that you can get. So playing around with that theme again in the cards that you're able to get.
So clever, so clever.
But the big thing on this one, like I say, that's a huge thing of that surveyor sailing around the island. But the big thing is you've got 3 tracks that you're working on in this one.
Yeah.
So creates a lot more options and opportunities of where you're going to go and what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So you're still going to be doing the rubble and everything and building the buildings as you lay in the track as you go along those routes. But you might be planning going to different places than your opponent is going to.
That makes it very interesting.
definitely does.
Yeah.
But when you're excavating, when you're taking that rubble, you have to stick to one track of what you're doing. So once you're committed to that track, all of your rubble has to come from that same track. You can't sort of diversify with that. But it's taking you to sort of different building options then. So rather than it being static around everything happens in order, it could be that you've got a lot of building opportunities on one area of the map, whereas there's still a lot of rubble going on somewhere else.
Yes.
So it gives you a lot more options in terms of what you're doing as your action. You're not sort of restricted going, well, there's that one tile and that rubble, and then that's going to build over there. It ends up opening all of that up. So there's a lot more track laying, building, and excavation that you can do. You don't feel quite as restricted sometimes as you can do in Snowdonia of being hemmed in about perhaps what other people have done, of whether they've progressed other things enough for you to maximise what you want to do on your turn. This certainly allows that. But the event, it can be a little bit brutal around that sort of locking down a space. So when that happens of, buildings that haven't been fully built on yet in an area will then get closed off. Some of those beginning ones have got a lot of building spaces, and that could get wiped out quite early. So there's lots of building opportunities at the beginning, but those events could really come into play of how they mess with it.
The events I really liked because it's almost like a rondelle sort of thing. That was very, very interesting as well.
But different stuff again, new little sprinklings of things, and a slightly different game end trigger with this. So it's around when two lines have been fully excavated is where it's going to trigger the end of the game, and not necessarily around sort of, one track being fully built. It's around has the two tracks being explored enough to be able to trigger the end. But really, really cool, interesting.
I love this one. I really, I loved the first one, but I love this one. And I don't know why, but there's something about the map that really makes me smile. Like I just love the visuals of it, the artwork, everything, the graphic design. It's just lush.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
So enjoy that. But then we've got map 3 that we've played.
Yes. Hang on a minute now. Let me just put this away. Where in the world are we going next? Because we've been to South America.
Yes.
We've been to the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
Finally, I've been to the Isle of Wight. Where are we going now?
Well, now we're going to Tokyo.
No way.
Yes.
I've always wanted to go to Tokyo.
But we're doing the Tokyo Metro in this one. Now, this one was quite a step up from the others.
Yes.
You're still doing all the Snowdonia stuff. You've still got those same types of actions that you're doing, but the map with this has a lot more going on.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Because it's the Tokyo Metro, so there are lots of lines that are happening. So Isle of Wight was a great introduction into Tokyo. This definitely does a step up with it. So the Isle of Wight introduced the three tracks that were happening. With this one now, we've got 5 tracks that are going on. And they're all going on at the same time. But it just like Isle of Wight have sort of built up those options, gave you more things that you could think about and do. Tokyo took that to the next level again.
It certainly did. It certainly did.
Yeah.
And I must admit, my favourite. I loved the other ones.
Now, it's your favourite for one particular reason as well.
What?
It's the karaoke bar, isn't it?
It is the karaoke bar. So whereas you can get your extra workers who were in the pub in the original Snowdonia game, and you can draft them in to use them before they go back to the pub then afterwards. Your extra workers are in the karaoke bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But each of them has got a little twist on it. So in Demerara, they're in the rum distillery. In the Isle of Wight, they're at the Needles, which is a famous point of the Isle of Wight. And in this one, though, it is really funny that they are in a karaoke bar, which is really, really cool.
And I've got to talk about the map again, because when you open up this map, your brain may well do a little flip because it just looks like there's so much going on. But I tell you what, this is fantastic.
Really,
these
really good.
5 different routes, and it does take a bit of, because you've got to plan where you're going, and you're following the different coloured lines
Yes.
and everything. Oh, it's a joy.
It creates so many options, and this has got a twist on what your surveyor is doing again. So your surveyor is starting off in Tokyo, and your surveyor then can sort of walk along these different routes on the metro, stopping at the stations, but they then can get surveyor certificates, I think they were called.
Yeah, almost like little tickets.
Little tickets, and they have got sort of end game scoring on them. So you're going to be planning where you're going to be moving your surveyor to get tickets that are really going to ramp up that end of game scoring.
Yeah.
But with those tickets, they align to a lot of what's going on. So it'll matter the other things that you were doing of where you're laying your track, where you're building your stations, because with some of them and with some of the contracts that will be put into the game for this one, there's a lot more contracts added for this one that are specific to the Tokyo Metro.
Yeah.
Those colours of those lines will play into it. So you need to plan carefully of how you're going to synergize all of those things, the actions you're doing, as well as the things that you're going to be scoring at the end.
And your trains as well that you pick up in this game, they've got end of game scoring things as well. So yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah.
But there's something else as well, isn't there?
What's something?
There's a lot of rain.
There's a lot of rain.
A lot of rain.
Yes. And you've got to be careful with the rain on a metro.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because what could happen?
Flooding.
Yeah. So whenever we play Snowdonia, I think it's just perhaps because we're Welsh.
Yes.
That we seem to get quite significant periods of rain when we play it.
We do. It's just like being in Wales.
Yeah. Totally. So it's fully thematic for us of that happening.
Yes.
In the other maps that we played and in base Snowdonia, that rain, it reduces down, how efficient certain actions and things are.
Yes.
But the sun's going to come out and everything's going to get better. In the Tokyo Metro, yes, the sun is still going to come out and things will get a bit better.
Fingers crossed. Yes.
But if that rain comes out, a little token is put on the board to show that it's rained once, and it can handle a bit of rain.
Yeah.
But if it rains again and that token is on the board, then it's going to flood a section of the metro.
Yeah.
And depending on where the excavation marker is, that'll align to one of the routes on the metro. So one of the lines. And you'll roll a dice, and each of the stations has got a dice value on it, and that is the station that is going to flood. So you put a flood token on it. Now, that might not sound too bad, but that flood token, depending on where it goes, blocks any actions happening from there on that line. So you can't do any more excavation on there, you can't do any building, and you can't move your surveyor past the flood.
Yes, of course, yes.
But don't worry, because you can get rid of the flood, get the pumps out, get the water out.
The pumps out, but it takes a bit of doing.
It takes a bit of doing. So you're using your excavation action then to remove the water, but for each water token that's there, you've got to use two of the excavation points. So if you're too far down on the work rate track for the excavation, it might take a little bit of time until you've got enough points of work rate to actually be able to remove those water. But the water is really, really cool because it gives you points at the end of the game as well.
Of course,
so just like rubble where you keep it, and perhaps if you've got certain end game scoring, that rubble can be really good, or it goes into feeding those contracts, isn't it, to give those points at the end of the game. In this, the water is going to do the same as well, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah, tremendous. This one, I mean, like you said, this really ramped things up.
Yes.
But they've done it in such a delightful way. The first 3 scenarios that we were playing from this prototype ramped up deliciously.
They did.
I rather thought.
They did. So I can't imagine what's in the 11. But anyway, we will talk about that. But just one more thing around the metro. So I mentioned around the surveyors where they can get those little tickets. They are end game scoring, but whereas normally with end game scoring, you know, you take your buildings and everything and you put them on your contracts and you can only use them for that specific thing. With the little tickets, they'll, like, I went rubble crazy because I had a ticket for every 5 rubble I had at the end of the game, I could get 2 points. I had similar ones around train tracks and stations on a particular line. But I didn't have to put those tokens on those tickets to score them. They score and you can still use them for your contracts. So again, you pull those things together and it is magical combolicious.
Crafty. Crafty.
So
we want
no surprises how that game went.
Yeah, we want moving quickly along. It's quite obvious that I won.
But end game on that one, slightly different again. It's around then when 2 of the tracks have been completely filled. I think it was 2, wasn't it?
Yes, 2.
Yes,
indeed. But there was a 4th one included.
There was a 4th.
Unfortunately, I think it's 3+ players.
3 to 5, I think.
But give
oh
them a clue.
My God, it's the one I was most excited about because I am the biggest Agatha Christie fan. There's probably bigger fans in the world, but I am a huge Agatha Christie fan. And the 4th scenario that we didn't get to do was La Belle Epoque, which is basically the murder on the Orient Express.
It looks phenomenal.
And I have been waiting for years for a decent Agatha Christie game. And I think this could be it.
Yes.
But we need some people to play it with. So please come round and play La Belle Epoque with us.
How interesting though, because the boards that we've been showing you so far have been your traditional sort of square boards, but this one is a long board, and as soon as I seen it, I was like, I can't wait to play that. And then it was 3 players.
I know. But of course the board needs to be long because you're on the train. So there's lots of sort of like quirky little twists with this one. So it's still got some of those similar Snowdonia core actions in it, but like where you're rummaging for stuff, you know, instead of removing rubble, I think it's more like you're having a little look through things to try and get investigating. Well, not investigating because that's a different action, but you're sort of like having a route around to sort of get clues or to get magnifying glasses and things to be able to do interrogations and more investigating on the other actions. So that is really, really fun. You're still sort of putting out, not sort of buildings, but you're still putting out tokens or getting points from achieving certain things within the board. You've still got your resources within it, but instead of the iron, the stone and the coal, now you've got food, drink and tobacco. Because it's set in quite a few years ago where that was what would have been happening on these old trains.
Absolutely.
But the big thing with this is this deduction element that's happening within it. So at the beginning of the game, everyone is sort of dealt a hand of cards that have got characters on them and the certain traits. They'll have sort of 3 different types of traits on them. But there's one card that is removed at the beginning of the game, and that is the murderer. Everyone's going to get a deduction sheet as well. So as part of your actions, what you're going to be doing is interrogating the other players or potentially looking at some cards as well that perhaps haven't been dealt out to try and deduce who that murderer is. So that is really cool. It's pulling in, you know, those cool deduction games. I want to say it's not Clue, it's not Guess Who, it's like a mix of all that. It's more like, I suppose, that awkward guessiness and things in it. And you
sounds fantastic.
It does sound.
Stop filming now.
I know.
Stop filming now.
I know.
We grab a random stranger off the street and force them to play.
They need to. I need to play this. But so you're going to be questioning the other players, but how you question them, there's sort of different strength around how you can do the questioning. So if you use one magnifying glass, you just ask them about how many of a certain trait have you got in your hand. But everyone's going to hear that. So you're giving everyone's getting a bit of information based on your action. But if you use 2 magnifying glasses, you still ask about traits, but you ask about 2 specific traits, and if they're on cards, that player will show you those cards then. So you're getting secret
Wow.
information. So the other players are still getting a little bit of information because they know those things have happened on a certain number of cards, but they're not getting to see them. You are getting to see them, and you're able then to do your deduction.
Amazing.
And obviously you can call out who the murderer is as your action. You can go, I think I know who the murderer is.
Yeah.
And then you will look at that murderer card. If you're right, big points. I think it's 20-something points you're going to get for doing it.
If you're wrong,
you lose those points.
thrown off the train.
Yeah. But you're not out of the game. The game will continue.
Yes.
You're just not
You're just not
allowed
gonna get
to, you're not allowed to do the deduction. You're not going to get those points. Other people still could get it. But there's 2 end game conditions with it. So it's either someone successfully figures out who the murderer is, and that will end the game, or the train gets to Istanbul. So as part of sort of that event evolution, it's actually the train moving towards Istanbul.
Wow. Come on.
I'm like, I know. Need to play.
I know. I'm going on to GameFound now, and I'm going to back it.
But no, you just need to back people. We've got the Belle Epoque right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We just need some people.
Yeah. But we'll have to give it back.
Oh my God. Because, see, that is 4 maps, but there are going to be 11 just in the Grand Tour.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
What it's tremendous. Snowdonia is a fantastic design of a game. It's such a clever, brilliant game. And where they're going now with this sort of new expansion for the game, wow.
Yeah.
Grand tour, grand indeed.
Grand indeed. Because that's not all that we know, but there is the campaign mode that you can play with it as well, and that will combine the different maps. It's got sort of recommendations of which ones to combine, but you can mix things up how you want with it.
Yep.
And they say there's going to be those compatibility packs that are going to be on GameFound to then make sure that some of the other content you've got is workable with it. Because as part of the campaign that you're playing, you're going to be sort of collecting souvenirs, and those souvenirs will gather you points then for that campaign. You'll also be getting gold during it, so you can buy cards. There's got a bit more card play. You're going to have sort of like a hand of your own sort of personal actions that you can do as part of the campaign. So you start off with some, but then depending on how well you do in the scenario, you will be able to get more cards then to play in the next scenario. So really interesting how they're bringing that campaign in, but they are going to look at backwards compatible souvenir cards and things that will work with the master set and the original Snowdonia as well, so that you are able to use all of your content together as well. So I love it how they're thinking about how they're going to bring all of that back.
Tremendous.
And some of the components that you've got in your previous Snowdonia, you can. So we used our master set components by playing the Grand Tour, because the Grand Tour will be the maps and the cards and everything that you need to play the Grand Tour. If you buy the new Snowdonia, obviously it will come with all of the components that you need for base Snowdonia, but you can use the things that you've got already. You know, we've got lovely screen printed meeples and things, but take a look at the GameFound page. It will detail everything on there of what is in the various things, but so excited around what those other maps are. I know we've seen something, I know that an Africa map that we saw an early prototype image of the artwork of, and it looks spectacular.
Phenomenal.
So I know they are really traveling across the world. Which for us in Wales, because we've got a very, big soft spot for Snowdonia, because, it does mean a lot to us that it is such an important place in Wales, or should I say, a Wrtha.
Yes.
So, I find it funny of going to all these places, and I just need Cardiff train station now to figure out how we can get to Istanbul or how we can get to Africa by train, because you'd much prefer that than flying.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes. Put me on a train. I'm happy.
So if Tony Boydell can sort out the transport system for us, in real life, that would be quite magical. We would like to get the train to all of these places.
We would indeed, yes. One day, perhaps.
One day.
Well, there you go, yeah. So, check out the GameFound campaign. Snowdonia is a fantastic game. We've had a real blast playing the 3 scenarios in the prototype that we were sent. Truly, truly tremendous. Check that out. And we do hope you have enjoyed taking a look at this with us. If you have, please consider hitting the old like button, and also please hit that subscribe button if you would be so kind, because that would really help to grow the channel.
Yes.
And in the meantime, as always, thanks so much for watching. Please do take care, and bye,
Bye for now.
now.
Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch yn fawr.